I've not used this before, so I'm just trying it out.
Hey man, it's been too long since we sat down and that just feels wrong. Allow me to give my head a shake, open my eyes and fix a mistake. Do you wanna come over, just like the old times? We'll hit pause and then hit a rewind. You wanna come over, just like the old days, and we'll watch the time just fly. Hey buddy, no strangers here. These times I hold them dear. My door's open, so come on in. This was great, let's do it again. Do you wanna come over, just like the old times? We'll hit pause and then it'll rewind. You wanna come over, just like the old days, and we'll watch the time just fly. Do you wanna come over, just like the old times? We'll hit pause and then hit a rewind. You wanna come over, just like the old days, and we'll watch the time just fly.
How are you guys? We're doing a stop motion stream today, and it felt like this morning I was stopped and not in motion to get this stream going. Boy. But we're here now. We're doing it, and we're doing it live, but we're not doing it alone. We've got two people hanging out with us today, one of which you can see a little bit of an Autobot poking out of the top of your head there, Gaz. It's a good look for you. And that's our pal Datalynx Magnus, who does some exceptional action figure stop motion stuff. I love it. It's good stuff. And we've also got Adam, who will be joining us in a moment as well from Gofigure, who obviously will come with a plethora of slides for us. As we both know, Gaz, you and I are very lazy and don't do a lot, but we love to chat, right?
I like to chat, no prep.
No prep, chat, no prep. And Adam brings us all the prep. So what we'll do, we'll very quickly do the Clubhouse roll call, and then we'll introduce our guests. So if you want to be part of the Clubhouse roll call, all you have to do is be a channel member or a Patreon supporter. We have Clubhouse roll call: Wilhelm, Toy and Hobby, Casey Wheeler, Handsome Man, Ratface 44 Reviews, David, Samuel Blaine, our mate Nate, the Retro Tinker, Cindy K, who's going to get a Space Commander hat soon, Sonny's Sundries, Jonathan Sorensen, who I'll be streaming with this Thursday. Check it out one time, won't you? Happy Accident, Joshua Allen, our buddy Adam from Gofigure. And then I also have Scuba Pete, who keeps us safe in the oceans below, Phil, our buddy from Treasures for Trigger, Hans Chow, always kicking that door in, but he puts it back nicely, Ken Poe, Brandon Haley, Jason Clark, Grindhead Jim, Justin Bryant, and Space Commander, who keeps us safe up above. And then we've got our Clubhouse members, who is Cindy K, Gaz, hey, that's you, Beta Ray Bob, who accidentally said Beta Ray Bill last time, Spacey, Jason Stillwell, Ryan Sweeney, Keep on Collecting, and Crash. Good bloke, that Crash. So let's bring in our guests. We'll bring on our good buddy Adam. How are you, Adam?
I'm doing good. I've been out of commission for a few weeks, but I'm back in, and this is a great way to get the week started with you buddies here. Let's look at these guys.
Thanks, mate. We appreciate it. Introducing to the Clubhouse, Datalynx Magnus, who you guys might not know, has already appeared on the Clubhouse before in voice form. He did Guile for me, Colonel Guile. He also did Mr. T for me in the Slaughterhouse Wrestling Championship. Is coming back as Mr. T and as Balrog. We have Handsome Man, Datalynx Magnus. Pew, pew, pew.
There he is.
How are you, mate?
Right there.
Hello, peoples. What is up? Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
it's good
Excited to be here.
So we haven't had you on a live stream before, but I thought we need to change that up and start putting some faces to the voices. I prefer my voice to my face, but in this instance, we're all right. Sorry we're running late, guys. It was all my fault, but I appreciate your patience in joining us. And today we're talking about stop motion animation or stop motion movies too. I mean, is it still, if it's claymation stop motion, is that still animation because it's animated? Like it doesn't have to be drawn to be animated, right?
Yeah, I would say
believe
that's
so.
stop motion animation.
Thank
It's
you,
actually
Adam.
more accurate than claymation because it's not clay. It's like polyester or something they're using.
Remember the song Polyester Girl?
Nope.
Mm-mm. Nope.
You don't remember that one?
No, not ringing a bell.
Well,
Maybe it
sing
was
it
an
for us, Hazel.
I did a little. The only part I know is where it goes Polyester Girl over and over. Polyester Girl.
Well, luckily here at STS we have technology that can find.
Yeah,
these
look it up. Tell me who's saying this is what we do. Is that we do no prep and then we Google stuff.
The name of the show is called Gazz and Xaz Googling things.
Yeah.
Is
So
that a common
it'll be-
occurrence?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And then Gaz is going to hold his phone up to the screen like this. And
Yeah.
after that, Zazel's going to hold on and he's going to make Gaz go solo. And just as
Yeah.
Gaz comes solo, he puts his phone down.
Don't call me out like that. Did you find it,
That's
Gaz?
hilarious.
I did.
Who sings? No, wait. Let me try and guess. Polyester Girl, I think was Regurgitators, maybe?
That's right.
The regurgitators.
The
Yeah.
regurgitators.
Was that like a parody?
Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, we're gonna get monetized. All right.
Yeah. Anyway, let's say hi to the chat real quick.
Definitely
Cutthroat
interesting.
was here about 3 hours ago.
I will put the link in the chat for the song.
Perfect.
Is the film clip? Did you see the film clip? I'm pretty certain that's almost like adults only. Hi, Falls here. How are you, bud? Stephen Hall was here. I hope these guys are still here. Stephen Hall, how are you, buddy? Who else did we have? Gaz and Gofigure was here in the chat. Oh, Pericles, happy Monday. It's Tuesday for me. We're returning with Mo Tuesday tonight or tomorrow, depending on your neck of the woods. Daredevil Dave's Jeeps and Joes. He's added Jeeps and Joes to Daredevil Dave's. So I guess Daredevil Dave now talks about Jeeps and Joes as well. Good to see you, mate. Happy to see you. Yeah, we were running a bit late. Sorry, buddy. And I guess everyone else sort of dropped out as Ronnie Trixo. Where are you, mate? I was Mad Maxing it on the road. It took me a while to get here. Joe Fan 84, evening. Good morning from Australia. I made this. Hey guys, I made this. Now I do have links in the description for some of the stop motion channels that we'll talk about today. I made this has a link in the description, as well as Datalynx Magnus to check out some of his stuff too. So do check out those. Uncanny Swag, how are you, buddy? If I made this is welcome to join us too, by the way, if he's free. Managed to wake himself up. He's not fit state to appear on camera, but thanks for the invite. All right, well, that's all good, my friend. Your link is in the description, as well as Datalynx Magnus Adams and Gaz. My favorite song ever. Check it out one time, won't you? So I want to ask Datalynx or Magnus, as Gaz wants to.
Magnus.
Either one's fine. Either one's fine.
How did you get started with your stop motion stuff, and how long generally does it take to do an episode?
Okay. So I want to say it was about 2017, 2018. And I was spending the summer with my daughter because I'm actually a school teacher, believe it or not. So I
don't.
So, I actually teach science. Yeah, I actually teach science. So summer's off, right? So I'm at home with my young daughter. She's probably, 2018, 6 years. So she's around 5 or 6 at the time. And we're looking for stuff to do, trying to keep her busy, trying to make sure she doesn't drive me crazy and whatever the case. So we started watching YouTube and we started looking at people making stop motion videos. And one of the couple of people that I started watching right away, because I was a big Transformers guy and I kind of still am. And I got her into it. So we were watching Swagwave. I don't know if you watch stop motion, you've probably heard of him. He's a pretty big stop motion guy as far as like followers and all that. So, it just was, we were watching it, and I was just amazed at what people were doing with action figures. And I'm like, how? Like, how are they doing that? So I started doing some research, and I always had liked action figures. Used to collect them when I was a kid. Got out of it when I became an adult. And so I know, right? So then I got back into collecting action figures, started messing around with them, trying to make the stop motions, and it kind of just went from there. I mean, like the first stop motion video I put out was a Transformers one. It was a series, like 5 or 6 episodes. I kind of cringed when I watched that first couple because I had no idea what I was doing. But like the camera was all shaky, and I didn't have the set up, and I didn't.
All that work, critics, though, to be fair.
Yeah, and it still was a lot of work. And I didn't have enough of the right figures at the time, so I was custom making figures and stuff. So I was kind of just throwing stuff to the wall, seeing if it would work. And as I actually got a decent reception for a nobody with 2 followers, 2 subscribers. So I was like, this might be a good hobby. I think I'm gonna want to do this some more. And I just kept going, kept getting better, kept learning different programs, different techniques, different strategies, things like that. Because what I've always been is I've always been a storyteller as far as like superheroes and heroes and things like that. Like once upon a time, I used to want to be a comic book artist, and I had made my own universe and had all these characters and stuff. Never actually did it. I made a whole bunch of comics in my basement or at my house when I was a kid, and I had them. I never published anything though. But I have always stories to tell. Yeah,
have you still got them?
Yeah. I actually I gave them to my daughter. So
she has
them in her room, and she looks at them every now and again.
Nice.
So, but that's how I got started, and then it just kind of went from there. And then I just started, branching out. So I started doing other ones besides Transformers. I made a Batman series. I've dabbled in other things. I did a couple of Marvel ones, a few other DC ones besides Batman. And then I got into G.I. Joe, which I was always a G.I. Joe guy. But when the classified line came out, I got back into it action figure wise. And that's how I hooked up with Xazel, because I saw him. Well, I heard him on G.I. Joe Berg stuff. And Sergeant Slaughter is one of my favorite characters, period. Not just in G.I. Joe, just period. And I was like, who is that dude? I was like, who is that guy doing Sergeant Slaughter's voice? Like,
sounds just like him.
Is it? I thought it was actually Sergeant Slaughter for a second. I was like,
thanks.
I was like, that's too perfect. Did they get Sergeant Slaughter? I was like, I mean, G.I. Joe Bird. Maybe they did. And then when I found out
they
who
if they wanted.
I talked to the Joe Bird guys because I wanted to get Steve to do some voices too, and I was like, "What's up with that guy you had doing Sergeant Slaughter?" And that's how I looked up with Xazel. So since then, it's kind of been just something I do. I'm not as prolific as some other people. Like some people put out like a stop motion every couple of months.
Yeah, I
don't have that kind of time. But I try to put out at least like 3 or 4 a year. It all depends. And some people put out really short ones. Some people put out really long ones. Mine are kind of in the middle. I usually tend to go about 12 to 20 minutes as far as runtime. But like Xazel was alluding to earlier, it takes a long time to amass that many pictures and to put together that kind of setup, especially if you're really trying to tell a story, like not just a ton of action, which look, the action is difficult to do. Don't get me wrong. But if you're also trying to tell a story, convey emotions, subtleties, things like that, it takes a while. And so I've always wanted to, go ahead, Gazz.
I was going to say, so what does a 5-minute bit take? How long does that take you to shoot?
So I am not on the level of some other stop motion people. I probably do 12 to 15 frames per second. So basically a picture 12 or 15 pictures per second. And that's on the low end. Like I know people that do 24 frames per second or like 20 or sometimes even higher than that. So depending on what I'm doing, if I got to set up my diorama, and Zazel knows this, you set up a diorama, get all your figures and who you need and what different hands you need and all this other stuff, go through all your junk. So you get all that together and then you start doing your pictures, right? So you got a little remote at this point because I didn't know that when I first started. I was just touching my phone and that's why it was shaking. Yeah. I got a remote now.
Technology.
So I got a Bluetooth remote. Click that. Go move a guy like 0.2 centimeters. Come back. Press it again. Move him again. Press that. Like literally, like a guy turning around is probably 20, 22, 24 pictures. Heaven forbid he's turning around and then moving his arm up. Add some
right.
And so a 5-minute runtime, it's probably taking you, depending on what they're doing, it's taking you at least 20 minutes. And that's on the low end. It might be more than that. And so how about this? It depends on how many people are in the shot too. If it's just one person and another one, okay. You try to do one with a crowd, like people in the background. Oh my God. I can't tell you how many times I had a crowd of people in a shot and I forgot to move people.
Right.
And dudes are stuck like this.
Yeah.
Moving around. I'm like, ah.
I know your pain. So I don't do stop motion. You mentioned G.I. Joe Berg before. I was doing a little comic strip just for my own fun, using my action figures and using Sarge as the main character, obviously. And I always wanted to animate them in some way, but I only ever thought that stop motion was the way to do it, right? And then when I saw Joe Berg, I saw Joe Berg stuff, and they play with it, in camera, like puppeteering, right? They call it play motion. And so I was like, that's the perfect excuse for me to do it quickly, or so I thought, and do it with little effort, or so I thought, and that's what got me into storytelling, because I love storytelling more than I like animating anything, right? I got stories running through my head, and it's just an excuse to get them out, and also an excuse to play with my toys. But what I found with doing it the way that I do, and the way that the Joe Berg guys do infinitely better than I do, is I could film, because I'm moving everything in camera. I don't have they have their hands in it and they don't mind. I don't have my hands in it, so I've got to think about the angles and stuff and how I'm going to do it. However, I find that I could be, after I've set up and done the sets and stuff, and I put the camera where I want it, I could puppeteer these guys and record for maybe 10 minutes and only come back with maybe 6 or 7 seconds worth of stuff that I can use. And I imagine that when you're doing stop motion, that when you take a shot, then you've got the shot. And then you move on to the next shot. It's not a matter of finagling it right there. You just take a shot, move on to the next frame. So do you find that you've gotten many frames down the line and then realized you've missed something, or other than the background characters, and had to scrap and start again?
Yeah, and it's very tedious to do stop motion, period. When you screw something up or you miss something, it's like, oh, I just spent an hour doing this scene and I forgot to move that person, or that person fell down and I forgot to pick them up. And what I've tried to do is I've tried to find ways to keep that part and either shrink the picture down so it doesn't show, or find some other way to work it, like maybe zoom in on the people that I'm focusing in on during the part where I messed up, so I don't lose time and lose footage. Because and I was telling one of the guys that I collaborate with sometimes, that we do voices, or I do voices for him, he does voices for me and stuff. I was like, you really got to be in the mood to do the stop motion. Like if you're just trying to get it done like it's your job or whatever. When something screws up, you knock over all them figures and go have a drink. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be in the mood and you got to be ready to put in the focused time. And you can't at least me, I can't do it for just 10 minutes or 15 minutes and then go do something else. I got to have a block of time to get done what I want to get done so that I feel like I got something accomplished. Because like you said, I could be working for 2 hours and only have 4 or 5 minutes of stuff, maybe less. And
plus, I guess when you set those guys up, you need them to be in that position for the next frame as well. So if you were to go away for a couple of days and come back, there's no real certainty that they're going to be in the position you left them in anyway. So you've got to sort of finagle that shot again and scene. I tried to do stop motion before I figured out play motion was a thing. And so if I do, for the sake of the audience, if I'm doing play motion and puppeteering on the screen, if I've moved that on camera for 20 minutes, that represents 20 minutes of my time. Right, and that's not including shots where I've sort of had to cut to different things and try and make it work and finagle it. Right, but for the most part, if I've moved something on camera for any amount of time, that's how much time on camera I actually used it for, as opposed to stop motion where you could be spending, like you said, up to 2 hours for 2 seconds of footage. But when I tried to do it, because I thought that was the only way I could do it, my biggest issue was consistent lighting. I could not keep my lighting consistent.
Yes. And I don't know how they do it. I don't know if they have the most expensive camera ever or they pay $500 for some spectacular editing app. But the stop motion giants, their lighting is flawless. And I'm always how are they not getting any light flashes or anything? I was extra doing putting different lights, putting more light in, putting less light in, putting it from different angles. And then when I would move a guy, the camera would shift its focus. And then that's how you get the light flashes. Now, what I finally figured out, and it's literally taken me this long, I just figured this out within the last calendar year. Yeah. So my new phone, that is, it's not new, but it's my newest phone, has a feature where you can lock the focus so that it stays where you put it. Nice. So when I turn the guys and I turn the people, the focus doesn't shift. And it's cut down on my light flash a ton. Yeah. So that's helped, but it still isn't as good as I want it to be. I still have areas or frames that there's a light flash, and I have to go in when I'm editing. Sometimes I literally have to make the thing, the timeline so huge that I can focus in on this one little piece and try to darken it or lighten it to make it match everything else. It's a pain in the ass.
Right. Which is why you say that you have to be into it and want to do it. Because I haven't done a play motion in over a year now because my heart just wasn't into it, and I've only just started doing it now, which is why I reached out and I was like, "Can you please come back and do the voices for me?"
I get it.
Yeah, it's just because otherwise you could you'll just hate it, and the whole thing would just be not worth your time. We've got a question here from Cutthroat Comics. It says, question for Magnus, is it easier to do stop motion with 6-inch figures compared to a 3-inch or 4-inch?
Okay, so that's a complicated question because it really isn't about the size of the figure. It's about the style of the figure. So let me give you an example. So this is a 1/12/1/10-ish Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat figure. It's about 6.5 to 7 inches, and it's got regular size feet for how big it is, but it's a bigger figure, so it has bigger feet. He'll stay standing up in a lot of different poses, right? Because his feet are so big. Let me show you let's see what I got here. So this is what I've been getting into recently. You guys familiar with Warhammer 40,000?
Oh, yeah. I used to love the 40K miniatures when I was in high school.
Okay, yeah. So These guys are technically 1/18 scale, but they're in huge armor. So look how big his feet are.
Yeah, yeah.
So these guys
That's
will
cool.
stand in all types of different poses. I'll put them all cockeyed and feet not in the right spot, and they'll just stand up anyway. Won't fall. I'll leave these guys standing up overnight, go to sleep, wake up, they're still up. So
Yeah.
the easier they can stand up, the easier it is to film with them, because you can put them in different spots, you can put them in poses, and they'll balance easier. When I first started doing stop motion, I was doing it with Transformers. Huge feet, right? They're huge.
Yeah.
So I was just, like, I wasn't using any rigs to hold guys up or anything like that. I was just actually balancing them. When they would kick somebody, they'd be up on one foot kicking people.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, this is pretty good. And then I started doing it with Marvel Legends, and dudes were falling down all the time. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, how do they do this? So it really depends on the style of figure, not necessarily how tall it is.
Yeah.
I can only imagine that. I was gonna say, I can only imagine when you bump the table and they all fall down. You're like,
Yeah,
Mate, I've
happened
been there
before.
too. Even just displaying your figures, that's frustrating when they get knocked down. But I've been in, because I make my toys wrestle, and so if I want to have a certain shot or a certain position, I've ended up using sticky tack or blue tack in some cases just to get them to stay. But yeah, it can be frustrating when everything falls down, especially when you think you've got the camera just right. It's like, oh, I'm ready to go, and then down.
And that's another trade. The sticky tap, this stuff you can get at your local store. So when you got guys or figures that won't stand up easy or that want to lean and do other stuff, you get the sticky tap and you put a little bit on their feet. And I've seen people do stop motions where there's a big old blob of it under them, and it screws up the suspension of disbelief. So if you put a thin layer on there and you stick it, and they'll stand up better, and you can hold, like, a guy's falling back, but he won't actually fall, so you can get that picture in real quick and then move him some more. So I didn't know anything about this when I first started either, and I use this a lot too.
I should probably get some of that, because I sent Ken, our friend Ken, a picture of a Delta 17 guy, and it looks odd because he's standing on a stand, and it takes all, like you said, the suspension of disbelief. I'm trying to find the picture if I can find my pics.
It's interesting to hear, like, the modern techniques for stop motion. In 1993, I got my first job ever. So I was washing rocks at an amethyst mine in Northern Ontario. And, oh, look at that.
Oh, hang on, let me solo you. Whoop.
Now take the camera away, Gazz.
I see what you're saying.
Nope.
Yeah.
Okay, you can miniaturize me.
All right, hang on.
But yeah, so I worked all summer so I could buy an 8mm video camera, strictly because I wanted to do stop motion. And so what I would do is, so there's no remote, and you had to, like, push the button to start recording, then push it to stop. It wasn't a still picture; it was like a frame of video,
right?
And you couldn't go back and edit it. It was just like you had to do it in camera. And then to edit sound on top of it, I would first take the 8mm footage and dub it onto a VHS tape. And then I would take a VCR and a second VCR to dub it again onto a video, but then take my video camera and record audio in real time.
Right.
On the back, plug that audio in.
Wow.
So you had one shot at it. And so you do that all day. You're out there doing stop motion, whatever, and then you're like, hey, come see this thing I did. It's 4 minutes of the worst stop motion. But you're so proud of it. It was just like, this is it. Because back in the day, it's funny. I think I was watching The Never Ending Story with my kids about a year ago.
And it's one of my favorite movies.
And my daughter. So when Valcor came out, my daughter said something. It's like, oh, it's that. She didn't call it stop motion. She just called it it's that old kind of animation, and kind of like surprised a little bit. And I was like, it's funny that my kids see stop motion and they think, oh, that means this movie's not good. When there was a stop motion section in a live action movie when we were kids, that meant it was a great movie. That was that elevated it to a movie that was like, this is the greatest thing ever, because it has this you knew it was going to take you to a world that was going to blow your mind. So like it was the standard of excellence to me in a movie if it had a stop motion bit in there.
Mhm.
Yeah, a lot of my favorite movies that I watched when I was a kid, like fantasy type stuff or fantastic stuff, was stop motion, like Clash of the Titans, Never Ending Story. There was a couple of other ones, like they're B movies now, but back then it was like
They're always A movies in my heart.
Yeah, A grade for me. My mum was really into like Sinbad, Clash of
that's
Titans,
another
all
one I was
those
thinking
ones.
of. Yeah.
And I still think to this day, stop motion skeleton warriors look way more freakier in stop motion than they could ever computer generated.
Oh
I
yeah,
just think the movements, the style of it. I made this
it's
also
too smooth now. It's too smooth now. It was better
too
when they were
smooth.
kind of
it made it more menacing and more frightening. I made this as a tip where he says if you forget to move characters, you can isolate them and fiddle around in post-production using software like After Effects. And Pirates of the Galaxy says stop motion people that I know have switched over to doing things in front of green screens. They set up a static diorama and then film each of the characters separately. I'm starting to dabble with having a background on my TV and moving my characters in front of the TV screen, so I've got the background that way. Only in a few shots. It's a bit of a cheat. But if I don't have, Largo was here. How are you, Jimbo?
it's not a cheat, Zazel. It's magic. It's movie magic.
I try to do that with my Galaxy Explorer. My Galaxy Explorer back there in front of my TV, and my TV's too small. I was trying to get shots of it to look like it's in space, but you can see the edge of the TV. Don't work.
Right. Yeah.
Hey,
by the way, yo,
back to what you were talking about when you thought you could only do stop motion, then you saw the Joe Berg guys. So
yeah,
once I saw the Joe Berg guys, and I know you noticed this with some of my stuff recently, I've done like a hybrid. Like if there's something that's happening that I really need to just do the stop motion for, I do it. But if it's a scene where I can get away with moving the figures on my own and just filming video, and I don't like having my hands in it either, just because I don't know how Joe Berg and them get away with it, but I watch their stuff and I'm like, but I don't think I can do it. So, but I've moved my figures and things as I'm doing it. And here's another one I've done. I've moved figures and, took the video or either had my camera just taking photos.
Yeah.
Like automatically, and just move the figures and then crop it so that my hands are out of it. And it's beautiful. And it saved me a ton of time. Like some of those scenes I did in a couple of the G.I. Joe videos, I did in like 10 minutes. And if I did it all stop motion, it took me an hour, maybe 2,
Yeah. That Sarge scene where he's dressing down the new recruits, you do that with play motion. And I think that actually works really well. For that scene, and it didn't take me out of it. I thought it was a good blend, and it actually made me think how much I appreciate both forms of art and how useful they can both be. But we'll say hi to Hans Chow, who's kicked the door in. I know that he's putting it back on its hinge though.
Those things are expensive, man.
And Chevy Geek, how are you, buddy?
Shabby Geek, I'm bringing some Canadian sweet treats for Shabby to Joe Fest. So just so he's aware, get that sweet tooth ready, buddy.
Oh,
I think was the Joe Berg is why you don't see their hands when you're watching it.
Yeah,
it's because they have a good like story that gets you deep into it and you feel like it's Sunbow-ish, right? And the music, because they add that music in, and you just forget that you see that hand. You know what I mean?
Well,
just forget you see the hand.
You're absolutely right. The storytelling is top notch. The soundtrack is always banger. But I think what it also is that they are so masterful in what they do. Like some of the shots have full on Steven in them, right? And you don't care because it's the action that you're focused on. But it is also the adult equivalent of playing with your toys, right? And that's what they capture and it's true here. It's nostalgic, and it does make you feel like you were when you were a kid. And I 100% agree.
And they're very unabashed about their hands being in it too. Like they tell you, we're going to be in it. You're going to see our hands. You're like, and then I remember when I first was going to watch it, I was like, how does that work? And then when I saw it, I was like,
very well.
Hey. You also another thing is the backgrounds, because they're in such an amazing place to film that not everybody. I mean, like I can only. Do you remember their what's the white bomber? The Condor? Is that the Cobra Condor? The one that turns into two? It's got like a boomerang shaped back end, right?
Yeah.
That review, when they do that review, if you haven't seen that review, watch it. They're in a setting, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, it flies off into the sunset. It looks freaking cool.
Yeah.
And then you full on see Steve, and I think it's Rob. They're just running with it in their hands. And I'm like,
yeah. I mean, you're right though. Like they're picturesque backgrounds. Like they don't need dioramas because they got mountains and waterfalls and unicorns running in the background. I'm like, where the hell?
Falcors flying around.
I don't have nothing like that to go film by. Like nothing.
I film all of mine inside, usually with a black background or the slaughterhouse playset. I don't do anything outside. But I was lucky enough to be able to be a part of their Renegade series and got to film that because we were living in the same town at the time. And I got to run around and play with toys, much like Ab and I did at Joe Fest, running around with Sky Strikers. Gaz, I want to say, before we get too far from it, that photo that you showed was very good. I liked it. What was the issue with it?
I did too.
Oh no, it's just that you could see like the
he's trying to take it to the next level.
The stand.
The
stand.
Yeah,
he's trying to
if only I had an iPhone where I can just remove everything I don't want in it.
Now, I'm glad you brought that up, Gaz. So there's another feature that was on my new phone, and this is not an iPhone. I'm a Droid guy, but it's a Google Pixel.
Droid. Yep,
it's a Google Pixel, and it's Magic Eraser. So now I've been able to wipe stuff out of frames when I'm doing my stop motions.
Oh, that's clever.
That has helped me tremendously. Like now I'm actually using, the little stands that come with certain figures, and it's like a big clear kind of hook thing. So I've used that to show people flying through the air, and then I just go in and erase it. It's still tedious, but I can actually do it, and it comes out pretty good. So
I'm gonna have to check out see if mine has that.
I got a new phone that I haven't started doing any of the play motion stuff on yet, mostly because I've got all the stuff on this old phone. I've got the app that I downloaded on there, the old images and photos and stuff that I need to still do, right? And so if I start using my new phone, then I've got to transfer all those files over to this one. And I'd rather just do it all on here, edit it all on here, release it on here, and then start fresh on the new stuff. But I know that I have limitations on this one. Sometimes this phone is so old. Sometimes I'll record something, and then when I press stop and to save it, it'll just disappear to nowhere. that is frustrating. Like, and I know before anyone says yes, I hit record. All right, yes, I hit record. But it's just I'll see it, and time will be taken over, and I go, yes, perfect shot, and then stop, wait for it to save. Nothing, gone. And it's just, got to do it all over again. Yeah, so bad.
It's not stop motion related, but when Zazel was in Canada after Joe Fest and we made our Sky Striker video, it was hilarious that we filmed and edited the entire restoration, no problem. But we needed to get a 30-second clip of Zazel walking down the side of the road. The camera would lose the footage, or it wouldn't record it, or it was just someone would drive by. We were there for about half an hour to get a 3-second shot of Zazel walking on the road, and the rest of the video we got done in 20 minutes.
The great intro, though. So I do before we move, I do want to shout out our buddy. Where is the video first? Cobra Lang. who did a stop motion video for me on Sergeant Slaughter and Masters of the Universe. It's a 24-second clip. I'd like to play it now if you'll indulge me, just so we can have a look at some action figure stop motion stuff. Here it is. Check it out.
I love Cobra Lang.
Yeah, Corey's great. He did a bit for me for my Sergeant Slaughter tank video, where it was some Joes beating up some core figures.
Yeah.
What core?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. Adam.
You and I think, are the only two that are a fan of the core.
Hey, look.
But yeah, Cobra Lang did that.
I wish they would make a 1/12 version of the core, so I could have them go against my classified.
That would be pretty cool.
I would eat that up.
I actually was in communication with Leonard. I was pitching them an idea, and they were pretty. I don't want to use the word arrogant, but pretty confident in the strength of their action figures right now.
Like, you know who we are?
And they were like, our action figure, the core, is doing us well, and we don't want to change our formula. So there's no room for more action figures here, Leonard.
Okay.
Ronnie is also a core fan. Yeah, there's more core fans. There's more core fans out there than we thought. Although as kids, I was calling it corpse, like I think a lot of kids were.
The corpse, that's what I was calling it.
Called too.
Yeah, and when they fight, when they go against G.I. Joe, they become corpses.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh.
See, how cool is that guy?
Ninja
Large
Putter for Snow Shadow.
Large Sarge was one of my favorites. I couldn't get Sergeant Slaughter, but who was the guy that had the campaign cover in the core?
You mean this guy?
No, not that guy. There was one that had a. This is where Google comes in. We'll look it up. Ronnie will tell us who he is.
Oh, this is like a fedora, except it's not bent.
Yeah. He looks cool though.
Is that the guy, Hazel, that they reuse his head for the Mountie core figure that came with the horse?
Yes.
Oh, I want a Mountie. Do they have a Mountie one? I need to get one of those.
There's a Mountie that came with the horse.
I got the cowboy. I got the cowboy with the Indian. I got that like what's his name from Street Fighter, the bad guy. What's his name?
Bison.
The main Bison, kind of bison looking dude. And I got this tall like Indian dude to be his bodyguard. And I picked these two up for like a couple of bucks at a show.
Whipsaw. Yeah, so there were a few characters that looked like Street Fighter characters. I'm sure there was one that looked like Sagat. Anyway, I do want to properly give a shout out to Cobra Lang, who did that stop motion for me. It's done a lot of great stop motion stuff too. Like I said, in the description below, there is Datalynx, there is I Made This, there is Cobra Lang, and a few other links in there to go check out. I should have added Jobeg in there, actually. Should have thought about that as I was talking about play motion. I'll add it in later. No disrespect to the Jobeg guys. I know I love them. Adam, do you want to go through some of these slides?
Yeah, so I put together just because, like I said, when I was a kid, and even now, having a stop motion sequence in a live action movie meant the movie was going to be awesome. Like that was like a foundational thing. So I put together my top 10 live action movies that feature stop motion, and I thought we could just kind of take a walk through there and just get our opinions on that. If I'm out to lunch, if you guys are with me, and if the moniker holds true of stop motion equals a great movie. So
I like it.
First up is King Kong, and we can look at King Kong right now and think, oh, it's old and cheesy and gross, but it's fantastic. Like if you watch it, it's brilliant.
This is the original.
Without this film, there would be no Godzilla. This is an inspiration to make Godzilla.
Exactly. But the thing that they did, other than good stop motion, and I put the picture of him fighting a dinosaur because they do unnecessary stuff, but it makes it great. So like he kills this T-Rex, then he like picks up his jaw and like goes flappy, flappy, flappy with his mouth, and he kind of like plays with him a little bit and then throws him aside. And he didn't need to do that, but it just kind of makes it real. But what happens a lot in Godzilla is there's people like cowering in the foreground or in the background,
Yes.
And so what they would do is if someone was in the background, they would film it and then rear project it. And then as they went to do the stop motion, they would just go frame by frame and play that footage one frame at a time, essentially stop motioning the rear projection footage. And so and there's one scene when Godzilla is fighting one of the monsters, whatever, and the lady is in the background watching from a cliff, and in the foreground is the male lead. So what they did was they filmed her, put her in the background, stop motion animated it, and then put that in a rear projection. So it's like three things happening at once. And
I think that was Godzilla versus King Ghidorah.
Yeah, and so that kind of stuff, and it was like this. It was like they were inventing it at the time, and it came out, and it's been like the biggest movie. Like it saved the studio, and it changed film, and nobody at that time went there and said, "Oh, this looks stupid." It was like, this is the most incredible thing. And so I think we need to be able to look back at this kind of stuff and not only appreciate it for what it is, but just like you said, just go into it and believe it and just go on the ride.
This is my favorite. Yeah, this is my favorite King Kong movie to date. This one right here. Still my favorite.
Infinitely watchable. It's so good.
Yeah.
So that's on the list of the top 10. This isn't in any particular order. It's just.
I was gonna say, is it in order or no?
No, it's too close to call for some of these because then you go to something like Jason.
I love it.
Jason and the Argonauts. Yeah, there we
Yeah,
go.
this is a great one.
And so this was a thing where you saw this clip in all kinds of stuff. Like this would be featured in like a Muppet Babies episode, or like in the background we'd be watching it on. So I think I saw this fight 4 or 5 times before I saw the movie, and then. But then you watch the movie, and there's something, Zayla, you said there's something about Skeleton Warriors animated that they don't move like and we're talking about CG, how it's too smooth. I think that's what you said. But it's not only that it's smooth. It's like when you do stop motion, it was stop motion, but we can have good CG or bad CG, right? So like if you, for example, with King Kong, if you watch the Peter Jackson King Kong. It has some of the absolute very best CG of Andy Serkis motion capturing the ape, but it also has some of the worst when they're like running through the dinosaur legs and it's like kind of janky. And that takes you, I think, out of having that much of a separation between the good and the bad takes you out of a movie. Whereas if you're in for a stop motion movie, you're in for the ride. And so I think Jason the Argonauts is one of the classic rides you just go on. So that's why it's.
This scene and what was the one? I think it was he was fighting the Skeleton Warriors, and they had a couple of what do you call them? The half bird, half like lions, harpies. Yeah, the harpies were coming down, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, what a great scene!
Yeah, absolutely. And you just think about it all had to be done in camera. Like there was no green screen. It just like it had to be real. They had to do it and make it look good. And
then each one of those were like the way it was done is each one is its own little characteristics as it's coming into fight.
Right.
And they did that. Oh, it's brilliant. So brilliant.
Actually, this movie in particular, when I was in high school, before I picked up 40K, my younger brother was playing Warhammer Fantasy and he had a Skaven army and he was like, because we're still living at home. He was like, I want to play Warhammer, but, I can't go to my friend's house or I can't go here and play it. Could you just build an army, just a small army, just so when I can't play Warhammer with my buddies, we can play together? I said, yeah, man, I'd love to do that. That's great. I was like, tell me about some of the different types of armies that I can get. And then he showed me Undead, and I looked at all these Skeleton Warriors. I was like, those ones. And he goes, what are you going to get? Are you going to get like vampires or anything? I was like, no. These guys, that's it. Just Skeleton Warriors. As many as I need that, to go up against Skaven army. I don't know how many points I can use, but I'm going to just have Skeleton Warriors. That's it. And that's basically what I did. I had a whole army just full of Skeleton Warriors. They didn't last very long, but damn, they were fun to paint.
Yeah, and I just want to make a quick correction or just a clarification. So I made this as saying, that this scene here with Jason and the Argonauts was rear projected. When I said that it was all in camera, I didn't mean that they actually made life-size skeletons. I meant that everything you're seeing physically did exist, right? Whereas you watch a movie now and nothing exists, right? Like Godzilla X Kong came out and it's great, but like none of that is real. It's just
digital,
Yeah.
right. So this is rear projected. So getting the timing down for that is crazy. But you know,
So
every element did exist in a physical realm at some point in time, which I love that.
So wait, how did they, if like these skeleton dudes were however size they were, 6 inches, 12 inches, whatever the case.
Yeah.
How did they get him in the picture without like green screens and
So-
After Effects and all the junk that we have now?
They rear projected, so they filmed him, they choreographed the fight, and they filmed the fight choreographed, and then they animated the skeletons in the same position as the other actors,
Okay.
and then had him go through the choreography by himself, and then rear projected that and put these skeletons in front of him, and they had to match up the timing with that.
I'm just gonna say,
That's
Ray
crazy.
Harryhausen was a genius.
Yeah, and but the amount of time and effort that goes into that, right?
Yeah,
You're like, and it's on celluloid, so you have a couple shots at it, and then that's what it is. Yeah.
Apparently, the Rocketeer had the stop motion flying scene.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
really?
don't remember it being stop motion. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
I
couple
didn't know
times when stop motion happens. Large Marge truck scene from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. But there are some stop motion things coming up here where at first you don't realize it's stop motion because it got so good and it just looks otherworldly, right? And it's that kind of thing. But the next
I didn't know
one,
Rocketeer had stop motion.
yeah,
I had no
even into the mid or late 90s, they were still using stop motion. It just got real slick, and it wasn't until Jurassic Park and it changed everything, right? With Phil Tippett.
Right.
But the next one here is I think when I think of stop motion, I think of this
Clash of the
masterpiece,
Titans.
right? It was,
Pegasus.
and there was so many good stop motion scenes in it, like the owl and the scorpions, and even the stop motion kind of animation of the shadow of Calabac transforming into his like ghoulish self. I love that.
When he was whipping something, and I remember that being a stop motion.
Yeah, but this scene in particular, where they interwove shots of a real horse without wings against the stop motion Pegasus with wings, and then Hamill's there, and he's trying to it's just, as a kid, it was flawless. And I think those are the moments where you saw guys taking risks, and they're like, "This is to make this work. It's going to be magic, and it's going to be work, but let's do it because it's going to make the movie better."
I think at this point in time when he made this movie, this was like the pinnacle of all his knowledge going into this film.
And Clash of the Titans was a big budget like blockbuster, if I remember correctly. Like if this failed or flopped or people was like, "Oh, that's super fake looking," it had have been heads would have rolled. So,
right. One of the creatures in this is from one of my favorite stop motions. It's the Kraken, and it's from 20 million miles to Earth. And
right.
It's just wonders. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh, it's that monster from my movie." Oh man, that's crazy.
And this was one of the early examples where people would leave the theater and then go back in for the second showing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, because for a long time the Harryhausen stuff was great, but it was always B movie. Yeah. So like you bring up a great point when this was a blockbuster. This was the top billing. Laurence Olivier was in this with a stop motion scorpion, right? Like those are the two things that were happening.
Yeah. I mean, think about the actors like Burgess Meredith, like
yeah. But that's
top billing.
The scene where Calibus' hand turns into the scorpion, like rotates around and contorts into the scorpion, is way better than the birth of the scorpion in the remake of Clash of the Titans.
This movie is the reason why I like Xandar from G.I. Joe, because he looks like Calibus.
Right.
If you look at his face, and I always played him like he was like that evil, demonish guy.
Yeah, brilliant film.
Always a G.I. Joe connection, Gaz.
Always.
No joke connection.
Yeah.
There's always.
And then moving on, we go to
Yes.
Ed 209 in RoboCop. This is
Another
this is
one of
what
my
I think. So this is one of my favorite all time. I think this is a perfect movie. Yes. But this is when I think that guys slightly younger than us always complain about. It's always like, oh, the Ed 209 stuff was awful. But no, it was actually brilliant. It was brilliant. And again, the mix of like RoboCop jumping onto the stop motion model, and then it cuts to the real model, and then back and forth. Like it was at the time it was seamless in '87, and you watch it today and you're like, this holds up. Like this is. I mean, I'm watching a movie about a cyborg cop. I'll believe that Ed 209 is real too.
Yeah.
I want a stop motion series with an Ed 209 and just like a little kid, and that's his best buddy.
Oh, that would be cool. You know what? I'm glad that they haven't gone back and CGI'd this in like re-releases of the movie, which they're often, wanting to do. But I agree with this one being on the list because and I watch this movie very regularly, and I never not appreciate how good this looks. And it's top tier stuff.
Oh,
it's
where he's on the staircase. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And honestly, the Ed 209 is actually more believable than RoboCop. Like,
very true.
a robot that can do stuff like that and is all flawed and stuff. That's perfectly believable, rather than taking a corpse and making him a RoboCop. So
and then adding the sound effects and everything to him. Oh, just so good.
Now I'm gonna have to go find myself an Ed 209. What the hell, man?
Yeah. Hey, look, they do have them for sale.
I know.
I made one.
Yeah, I want to get the Kenner one with the caps. They call it Ed 260.
260.
Yeah. And then moving on, we've got Zazel's favorite here.
Yeah.
The Seven Voyages of Sinbad. And again, this was essentially
I was wondering what movie is Sinbad.
Yeah, but this was essentially a B movie.
Yeah.
But this was like growing up, we didn't have the internet to search stuff up. And so this would be a thing where you'd be flipping through the channels and you just see it. And you're like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch this movie. Right. And there's the stop motion skeletons. And you're just like, you would just get taken away and the world stopped. It wasn't like I'll watch it later. I'll just put this on my to watch list on Netflix. You saw something like this. And again, you're like, this is so important. I need to know what this is. And then you would just like invest yourself in it.
So we had
like not a different time. Like I can remember watching, flipping the channels or turning the dial.
Yeah.
Those of you that know what I'm talking about. And you stop on channel, whatever it is. For us, it was channel 43 or 61. And something like this would be on. And you would, and you'd sit down and watch it. Because you couldn't not watch it. You didn't know when it was coming on again.
Saturday afternoons, man. Feature double feature. That's what it was.
Yeah.
This stuff, Godzilla, stuff like that was just, oh, man. And you just stop and you just sit and wonder. Like, wow. And because they're moving on their own.
You will stop and be enthralled by any stop motion movie.
Because the kid's mind's going 100 miles a minute. This thing is real because it's moving by itself and it's not a cartoon.
Right.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So I think the next iteration of this kind of adventure film, if you guys remember, in like the mid to late 90s, remember like the network miniseries? They did like Merlin and Odyssey and all that.
Hercules.
Yeah, and the Hercules stuff. Yeah, like the New Adventures of Hercules. But they would do a lot of superimposing was what they did then. So they would just make a human actor look bigger.
Yep.
This was better than that. Because the human actor looking bigger superimposed.
They used in her. Go ahead, Adam.
It almost was like, oh, I can understand how that works. I get the trick they're doing. Whereas this, again, it seems so otherworldly that you're like, I don't understand it.
Because in the Hercules series, I think it was the first like little mini series, the first episode of Hercules, The Adventures of Hercules with Kevin Sorbo.
Yep.
The Cyclops was played by the actor that plays Bull on Night Court.
Right.
and they gave him like one eye. And then when I saw that for the first time, I was like watching. Like, hey, wait a minute, that's the bad guy that's trying to act like the what's his name? I want to say the Krogan, it's not the Krogan.
The
What's
Kurgan.
his name from Kurgan
Kurgan.
from Highlander. It's like it's a knockoff Kurgan from Highlander. I didn't know who was from Night Court. I'm like, what is this crap?
Yeah, so this represents the character that it is in the movie. This isn't an actor dressed as anything. This was created and sculpted for the Sinbad movies. And my mum, bless her, she didn't know how stop motion like worked necessarily, like how they blended it all. But I would sit there and go, how do they do this? And she'd go, they would just move it. And I was like, how? They're so big and they're so little. Movie magic.
Real, Mom. They're real, Mom. They're
It's
not
real.
The only other Cyclops that I can think of that would stand up to this is the Cyclops from Crow. That's the only other Cyclops I can think
Crow.
of. That's not animated in any way.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
This guy's cooler though.
Yeah, he is cooler because he has the goat legs too and stuff. Man, this guy's nobody. If you guys haven't seen this, I'm talking to the chat. I'm looking at the chat like I'm talking to them. Chat, if you've not seen this movie,
Just Josiah. If you haven't seen this, go watch it when this is done.
Cutthroat Pirates. I'm talking to you guys.
Yeah,
I made this. You guys, if you've not seen this movie, go see it.
So then moving on from there,
I think it's free on YouTube actually.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, moving on from there,
Yes.
this is one of those scenes that people don't realize is stop motion.
This is Indiana Jones, right?
Right, when he drinks from the wrong grail and
Last
he ages,
Crusade.
that's a stop motion effect that they do. And
chose poorly.
And well, I think it's actually go motion because they do some blur in it,
Right.
The Phil Tippett style. But again, it doesn't look like stop motion. It just looks like he's been cursed. Like it looks so otherworldly,
Like,
right? And I love when a movie can trick you, when it can fool you.
I didn't know that was stop motion.
Well, didn't they do it in Temple of Doom as well with the
The melting faces.
minecart race? That was all stop motion, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But like that to me is a more like typical looking stop motion thing. This doesn't look like stop motion, and which means it's really good stop motion.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Raiders of the Lost
Great
Ark where the faces are melting.
Yeah,
It's so beautiful.
and this to me, and not to pump my own tires, but when I do all my 3D sculpting and designing, I use the program wrong, right? And people will tell me like, that's not, you're just, why are you sculpting in the slicing program? Don't do it. It's wrong. I'm like, yeah, but it works. Like it gets me to where I want to go. And this is an example of using stop motion in a non-conventional way, and it gets where they need to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great scene and seamless in the movie. It does right. And so I love that. And then moving on, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about this Star Wars chess scene.
Yeah. Love it.
Right. Another moment that they didn't need to put in the movie. They could have been playing any game, but
Let the Wookiee win.
Let the Wookiee win. But they brought in this, and in a movie full of wonder, as a kid, the stop motion chess scene was the one I was the most blown away by.
I think this might have been after seeing some of those classic movies with Mum. And I remember seeing Star Wars like way more than any of those movies. But I think this was one of those scenes where I recognized it as stop motion because of what Mum had shown me before. And I remember being excited and going, "Oh, these are like those other things." It's like, "Yep, that's it." I said, "How did they get them so small this time?"
and get them to look like a digital representation, because like you would see little flashes or statics in them and stuff.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah.
So cool.
That one I did know was stop motion. That one I knew.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always wondered how that game was played.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are the rules?
The fact that they
Google
have
rules.
like a phone app version of this game is crazy.
It's kind of like you sit there and look at it and you wonder how it's played because they don't actually move on the squares, right? When you see them move,
Yeah.
Right.
They just walk
so
around
so this makes you wonder. And then when you watch like Star Trek and you see them playing that weird chess game, and you're like, how the hell are you playing that?
Yeah.
The multi-layered one. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on here is we come to now this is the Army of Darkness, the Evil Dead
yes.
third installment.
Okay.
And so this
So
is the Deadite Army, but it's from 1993 or 1992. So it's this weird stop motion homage. There he is. There's Ash.
It's my boomstick.
Yeah. But it's a filmmaker who loved Jason and the Argonauts.
Yeah.
Doing Jason and the Argonauts 50 years later.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Love
Right.
it.
And it's great. And the music in this, and just like, and this reminds me a little bit of what you guys do, because it was a combination of stop motion and play motion when they have like the skeleton puppets that are like walking and playing flutes and stuff. That would be all play motion, whereas it was intertwined with the stop motion. And I think they did an incredible job on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. Really good film.
This
Love
scene
this
is
movie.
as much fun as it needs to be, and it does it so well.
Yep, I agree. Another great representation of skeleton warriors. These guys, whenever I was painting my army, I tried to make them look a little less clean. Like this is a clean bone army.
Yeah, these guys have been bleached by a serial killer.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right, and then moving on, we come to
Yes.
I think now these are not in order, but I think this is my ultimate favorite stop motion scene. I remember as a kid just being terrified watching the first Terminator.
Yes,
The
very
picture
much.
at the end. And
I was talking with somebody today about Terminator 1 and Terminator 2. Anything after that is wishy-washy. But I was saying how different the genres between 1 and 2 are, because I find 1 to be a sci-fi horror, whereas the second one is more sci-fi action. Quite like they did with Alien, in fact, I suppose, when you think about it.
Yeah,
but one of the all-time greatest horror movies, in my opinion, too.
Yeah.
Alien? You say Alien?
yeah, Alien.
Yeah, Alien.
Terminator
The first
were-
one? Yeah.
Yeah. But
I prefer Alien, and I prefer Terminator over the sequels.
Same, Gazz. I like the sequels. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I like Aliens. It's great because the space movies are good, but I mean, for a nice, scary killer, it still makes me jump. It still makes me jump.
So Zazo, would you say that Aliens is sci-fi action too?
Yep.
Whereas Alien is sci-fi horror.
Yeah, exactly.
You only have one thing that's killing the crew. You don't know what it is, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crawling around and it's getting them, right? So you have no clue what it is. And the second one, you know what it is, and there's more than one of them. There's a whole nest of them. So yeah,
and they can actually put up a little bit of a fight.
Yeah. So it's like, and they got like superior weapons, right? Freaking pulse rifles that fire like a billion rounds a second, but it's still cool. Great.
I never thought of it like that. Like I guess I didn't really delineate between action and horror. It was the same franchise. It was sci-fi. I like them all. But you got a point. It's a very different feel when the humans look like they have a chance, even though
exactly. Yeah. And it's very the first ones in both cases, both Terminator and Alien, is they're both very isolating movies, and there is a sense of dread, and there is a sense of not being able to rise to the challenge necessarily. Whereas the sequels do give you that bit more. There's a bit more hope in the sequels.
Yeah, this to me, I think, is one of the greatest subtle twists in cinema. Is the whole movie, you see the Terminator getting shot and wore down, and he's going to change an eye, and he looks like he's getting damaged, and then he goes into the fire, and you realize that the Terminator that was there the whole time is actually flawless. He's not damaged at all.
Yeah.
You were let down a false sense of like hope with that or hurting him, and it was the reveal of this, and then to see him in real time chasing Linda Hamilton. It's brilliant. I think it's my favorite stop motion sequence ever. And then for the last one, this is a tip of the hat. Now we all know Ray Harryhausen is the father of all great stop motion. But Phil Tippett, I think, is the best quarterback. He was the guy that was there for the transition. He was the guy doing all the Jurassic Park stop motion stuff that then got scrapped because the computer guys went and did it behind his back and stole the show.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he had done a bunch of Go Motion stuff for Jurassic Park, and then the ILM guys just were told not to do computer animated dinosaurs, but just did it anyways, and made it, orchestrated this whole like fake, oops, she saw our dinosaur, and then they went and did all that, and so Phil Tippett said, "I've gone extinct. I'm making a movie with dinosaurs, and I've gone extinct." But then a few years later, this picture came out called Starship Troopers.
Love that movie.
And so the bugs in Starship Troopers are digitally animated. However, the footage that they submitted to the studio to show proof of concept for the movie was stop motion animated by Phil Tippett.
Huh.
And so he showed what the bugs would move like and what it would look like. So then for the movie, he would choreograph the scenes with the bugs with stop motion, and then they would CG the bugs over top of that to give them a more lifelike cadence in the way they moved in choreography. So, and that was the same thing with Jurassic Park. So when they did the digital dinosaurs, they said, yeah, they look good, but the movements don't seem natural. So Phil Tippett would choreograph and do animatic shots with stop motion dinosaurs and stop motion bugs to get the motion right. And then that would allow the map for the guys to do the CG. So the reason the bugs look so great in Starship Troopers was because Phil Tippett did the animatics in stop motion to get the movement and the feel right.
Unreal.
That is very cool.
So he was the guy that did the handoff between digital and stop motion.
I would have loved to have seen a version of both Jurassic Park and Starship Troopers where it is just stop motion stuff, though.
Yeah.
Well, you can
compare it. Yeah.
You can see on the special edition DVD of Jurassic Park, you can see a bunch of footage done in stop motion, specifically the raptors in the kitchen, and the dinosaur herd running through the fields over the logs and stuff, and it looks really good. Like I think I almost would have preferred that. Like it looks dynamite.
Yeah, I would have preferred that too. But I mean, as a kid though, I was super into Jurassic Park. I felt like, oh yeah, Mars Attack was supposed to be done in stop motion. Okay, it looks kind of stop motion too, though.
Yeah,
it does still have that feel. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm always enthralled by what I see because it always does look great, and that extends to you too, Datalynx Magnus, where I feel like when I'm watching it, I'm enthralled by not only the technique, but also the world building, the storytelling, and all the creative bits of the puzzle that go together to make it an entertaining watch. And I think that is a lost art that is superior to a lot of the stuff that we have now. And I think the only thing that comes close to stop motion animation is puppeteering, and how puppeteers are able to make things like the Muppets, for instance, come alive and you believe that they are what they are. And now everything's CG, and it's like, I mean, I might be the only one who prefers the Yoda puppet in Phantom Menace over the redo.
Prefer it. Yeah.
Like, I know what
there's moments too where stop motion would have definitely been better. Like I think of the Mummy 2 with the Scorpion King at the end.
Oh my god!
Could you imagine like a Harryhausen style Scorpion King at the end? It would have been amazing, right?
Yeah. Talk about some CGI just takes you right out of a movie. You're like,
and
hello.
That was such a letdown.
Yeah,
such a letdown.
Yeah,
but that image popped in my head when you were talking about turning into a scorpion earlier. I was like, oh, remembering the Scorpion King, so lame.
and easy to pick on, right?
The Mummies were great movies too, but I think, and they really pioneered some of that CG, and then in some cases didn't quite work out. But the whole thing with the big wall of sand, the sandstorm, and the face comes through it, that was brilliantly done. But I think for the most part, that movie could have been potentially greater had it used those classic stop motion. I think the same with the Western, right? As things fall out of favor and they go, oh, it's, that's not cool anymore. and then they just stopped doing it, regardless of whether or not it's cool. And stop motion was always cool, but I think people just sort of went, oh, it's sort of, we've moved past that now, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
So, Datalynx, have you got any more stop motion stuff coming up? I mean, you've got a plethora of stuff on your channel already, and I suggest people go and check it out. In fact, do this.
Check it out one time, won't you?
There's a lot of stop motion in that too, wasn't there?
True.
I think it was it in Gremlins?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gremlins 2. That was Gremlins 2. But definitely check out Datalynx Magnus channel because he's got a lot of stuff on there to do with stop motion, not just stop motion, some reviews and stuff on there too. But have you got any?
Yeah, let me because I wrote this stuff down because I thought you probably would ask me that. So on my channel, obviously I do stop motion, but what I've tried to do over the past few years is kind of diversify. And one of my other big passions is just making custom action figures. Like I've made a ton of custom GI Joes, and Xaz, you probably know this more than most, but it seems like every time I made a custom GI Joe, Hasbro would make one in 2 or 3
Yeah.
months. I'm like, you're kidding me. Like I made a Crocmaster, and I was all proud of him. I'm like, this dude's obscure. They're not about to touch him. 6 months later, hey, look what we got coming out. I'm like, y'all be kidding. So I do a lot of custom action figures, and then I do like custom showcases on my channel. I dabble in toy reviews. I don't do a ton of those because there's a ton of people doing toy reviews, but I'll do one every now and again, especially if it's something special. But stop motion wise, I have some Warhammer 40K stuff coming up.
Yes. I've seen some of your 40K videos.
Yeah, I do a lot of customs with them. Like that one I showed you. Did I show you this guy earlier? Yeah, this guy.
Yeah.
That's a custom. Cool. This isn't a Joy. This is a Joy Toy one that I painted up into one of my custom chapters.
Oh, nice. So
these are the Confessors. The Confessors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So nice. I got like a whole, let's see, I'll go ahead and show. I got them right here, so I'll go ahead and show you. Here's a regular Battle Brother.
Yeah.
Here is, let's see here. Here's a Captain.
Nice.
Cool.
He is cool. I love the color palette.
Yeah.
And then here is a Chaplain in Terminator armor.
Oh, that's cool. Hang on. I'm going to solo you so we can get a good look at these. Sorry. Whoop. Yeah, that's so cool.
This dude.
Yeah. Love it.
Wicked.
That is wicked cool.
Yeah. So this is honestly.
Is that Wonder Woman's axe head you have there from?
It is. I turned it into the Crozish Arcanum. So
I love that.
I took. What did I take? This might be a Mythic Legion staff that I cut it down, and then I glued some stuff.
Great.
I glued a skull onto Wonder Woman's axe, wrapped it up with some purity seals and such, and made it look all grim dark. And
yeah. Cool.
So that's one of the Terminators. And then this is getting real deep in the weeds with the Warhammer stuff. But I also have this. I just worked on these guys this week. Some custom Thunder Warriors.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Nice.
From the Unification Wars.
Oh, nice.
Again, this is in the weeds. This is before there were Space Marines.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Pretty cool.
Here's another one.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's great. Anybody who's got an eye scar, I'm a fan of.
Yeah, I know, right?
Really
and
cool.
the milky eye.
Cool. Yeah.
Real World Warrior, like.
Right. Very, very grim dark. Here's another one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's cool.
Nice.
Nice. Epic beard.
So, believe it or not, these guys were Buzz Lightyear figures.
What?
No.
So, these Thunder Warriors I made were.
Get out.
No, wow. How about that?
That's great.
I love that.
I would not have picked it. I would have lost that
Me
bet
neither.
if you asked me. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
I got these dudes for $5 on Amazon, right?
Oh, that is so cool.
So, and I bought. I don't have the box handy, but there's these Hasbro Fortnite figures. that have, a gold kind of aesthetic, and they also have these shoulder pads with the fur, like the faux fur here, and the little tassels coming off. And I was like, man, if I could put those two figures together, I'd have a Thunder Warrior. And that's what I did. So I bought the Fortnite figure, bought the Buzz Lightyear figure, put the pieces together, added some stuff, did a whole bunch of painting, and that's how I got these guys.
That's cool.
But yeah,
I'm not gonna lie to Datalynx. When you were saying originally, you're like, yeah, so I do like stop motion on my channel, but I'm trying to diversify. I thought you're gonna be like, so I've been doing baking tutorials, like I do muffins every Monday. Like I was like, where's this guy going? But the custom figures was great. That was the right answer.
That's awesome. It's good
Yeah,
stuff.
those are very cool.
still all toy
So
related.
you've come up with well, we don't always have to talk about toys on this show. We shoot the shit because we want to talk about anything, but we always love a little bit of action figure talk. So you came up with your own chapter for Space Marines.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's one of them. I have probably 4 or 5 custom chapters. Oh, here's my box right here. I happen to have it close by, so I can show you one of each real quick. Not to take
Please. When I first started collecting 40K, I was doing the Blood Angels.
The Blood Angels, yeah.
Yeah, they're so cool. But I wanted to create my own chapter, so I created the Silverbacks, and they had a gorilla motif on their pauldron. And for the most part, they were black with some silver trim. And it was just not only was it looked cool, but it was also very easy to paint. Quick.
Look, that's a big deal because you
maybe
can
I
get
should
real deep in the weeds and happen to paint so much stuff that it takes too long.
Maybe I should get into making my own group. Call it Megaforce.
Yes, Gaz, do it. Let's play
All right,
Warhammer 40K online.
Here is my other custom chapter. This is the Sons of the Taurus.
Oh,
And I
wow.
found these bull kind of pendant things at a craft store near me. Hobby Lobby, you guys may have heard of it. I don't know if it's worldwide or not, but and they're like $2 or whatever to get a pendant. So I got the pendants, glued it onto the figures that I had, painted them up in this paint scheme. This is I want to say this guy was a captain. So this is the Sons of the Taurus.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, that's great.
And I'm sure you guys, if you're a Warhammer fan or you know about it, you've seen that stuff. But they have so much ostentatious decorations on their armor and stuff that I go the extra mile. Like I put a ton of extra stuff on them. Like basically it's too much stuff, but it looks cool. Like no one can really move around with all this junk on. But
yeah. Is that an Indiana Fever jacket?
Well, actually, it's an Ohio Fever jacket. So my daughter plays travel softball, and this is her team.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah. So let's see.
Does your daughter not swing at the first pitch every time?
I've taught her that if it's a strike, go ahead and hit it.
My wife plays softball quite a bit, and Zazel came to watch one of her games, and the entire team refuses to swing at the first pitch.
Did my head in.
I told her, look, if it's a good pitch, swing at it.
Yeah, it's reasonable.
Here's another one. This is another captain. Where the hell is arm?
Oh, wow.
Here's one of his. Here it is. His power claw.
Yeah, I can't do much custom stuff either. I do the old school, just put bits together and then call it a day.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
a lot.
That's great.
a lot of these guys have custom like 3D printed parts. Like this power claw thing is
Whoa, look at that claw.
3D printed part that I got from somebody on Etsy. Same thing with this shoulder pauldron with the big eagle on it.
That's
kinda
wicked.
That's kind of like Judge Dredd, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
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 So this chapter is the Ardent Victors.
That's cool. How cool was Space Hulk? Did you ever play that game?
Oh, I haven't played it, but I've watched it on YouTube. I watched other people play through it and watch the cutscenes. That's how I play video games now. I watch other people and I look at the cutscenes.
Yeah.
You get to the parts you want to see.
Yeah, because I want to see the story, right? Yeah.
Right.
Here is, let's see, this guy. Okay, this is another chaplain, and he's
that's
from
cool.
the Sons
Yeah,
of the
I like
Taurus.
that.
That's pretty cool. I like that mask.
Oh, I love that giant skull on the pauldron there.
The giant skull weapon reminds me of the leader of the Juns from Beastmaster.
Oh,
yeah.
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 That's cool. That might be my favorite so far. I like the skull look on his mask.
That was pretty cool.
That is
Even
cool.
the skull at the end of his like club.
Yeah.
That was neat. And he's got that
And the power glove. It's like
Yeah,
the Nintendo
Wolverine.
power glove.
that Wolverine claw on steroids.
I know, right? It's pretty wicked looking, and he's got a huge gun strapped to him.
Yeah, he always plays Vega when he plays Street Fighter 2.
That is cool. Look at that gun, Jesus.
I don't think Vega's voice
Here
in the
we
game
have-
matches.
This is the Serpentis Tenebrae, or the Shadow Serpents.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, nice.
Is that a giant tooth?
Yep,
On the
from a huge snake.
That's cool.
Oh, that is
And you
that is
got,
pretty
got
cool.
a servitor up here.
That's great.
Dude, that's and you've got the like a serpent pattern on him. Dude, how did you do that?
Well, this I found at craft stores. Like, you'd be surprised what's at a craft store. So there's just these like maybe 7x8 or 8x10 like cutouts of patterns, and you can they're cheap too. It's like $2, and you buy it and you can cut it and do what you want with it. So I found that pattern. I was like, that would look cool. So then I put it in different spots on the Marines, and each one of them have a little bit of the serpent pattern, either on a pauldron, or if you're a more important person, you have more of them hanging from you. You got a little piece down here on your greaves there. And this stick thing weapon it's like a big tooth connected to another. I think I got this thing from a Mythic Legions too, and then I wrapped it around with some faux leather to make it look like it's somebody made it.
That's great.
So
That is awesome.
Somebody did make it. You made it.
Oh,
yeah, pretty much. Let's see. I think I got one more custom chapter here. Oh, here's another custom chaplain.
Ooh,
Oh, he's cool.
He's also from the Ardent Victors.
I like that skull mask. Skull mask is cool.
Yeah. Skull motifs are always cool.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Definitely check out Datalynx Magnus for his custom works as well.
Yeah.
Not just he's got some custom cool stuff happening.
And like, I probably spend my most like free time making custom figures. Like, that's kind of my love at this time. Like,
Do you find it like super relaxing to do that?
I do. Like Zazel, you say you used to have the Warhammer dudes painting small minis and stuff. It's like therapeutic. So like when I'm painting like sometimes I have a rough day at work or whatever the case, I just want to relax. I'll literally have, tons of my figures out, and I'll just make customs or make little intricate paintings to people, and it kind of relaxes me. And it's nice.
Have you got any?
I saw somebody said something in the comments. Do you have any Warhammer vehicles? I actually do. So if we got time, I'll show you my custom Imperial Knight.
Absolutely.
You guys want to see that? Like the big, huge.
Yeah, let's see it.
We get it.
All right, give me 1 second.
No, I think that might be a thing now. You want to
He's
get
gonna
into
come back
Warhammer?
wearing. He's gonna come back wearing a full suit.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be something. We're going to get a Warhammer Megaforce.
Let's do it. Let's do a
Let's do it.
Warhammer shoot the shit and talk about your new Megaforce army when you get it all sorted.
Let me go get.
Gazz is gonna show up with like pieces of figures glued to his head. He's like, it went terrible.
In case anyone
everywhere.
next week, shoot the shit. We're going to be talking about X-Men animated series and X-Men 97. And because Gaz mentioned it, Adam will be representing Deadpool, being the resident Canadian that we have. And I'll be representing Wolverine because we all know that the best Canadians are played by Australians.
Right.
Just-
Ironically, in the biopic of our group, I'm going to be playing Xazel, and Xazel will be playing me.
We're going to flip it. That's why I'm growing my hair out so I can get it cut in just the same way that Adam does. Gaz, are you on Mo Tuesday this week? Did we line it up correctly?
I believe so.
Well, you're my guest. Are you going to make it?
I hope so.
It's
Like
in
it's
like
like-
10 hours.
Yeah, I'm
it
gonna have to go to sleep. I can get up
I
now.
thought we were holding off one more week, but maybe I was wrong.
You are wrong. It's back this week.
Okay.
Adam, it's this week.
I'm in.
Hey, you guys might want to get that squared away.
Yeah. What's happening here? All right, I'm going to solo you again, Datalynx, so we can see this
Yes.
epic vehicle you have.
Okay, so
Oh,
Oh, that's cool. That's from the Titans.
it's like a Titan, but it's smaller, but it's still supposed to be big. So this, let me back up here. So this here is an Imperial Knight, and they call it that, but it's actually a guy in a big like walker, and it's probably maybe 30 feet tall in universe.
Oh, damn.
So
holy moly.
I made this from a Halo Walker, World of Halo Walker. I
Huh.
have one that's not made. Hold on, let me see if I can grab it real quick, so you see
Okay.
what
Yeah,
this
that's-
came from.
that's cool.
So hopefully this doesn't
Oh,
fall and break.
We'll hold it for you.
Stay there.
Guys, you got it?
Don't do anything.
Yeah, I got it. Hold on. I'm holding.
That's what she said. Ha!
what.
Yo, Joe, how are you, Kiwi?
All right, so I did find it real quick. So this
Ooh.
here, I added a whole bunch of stuff to this guy, and a lot of it is honestly just trash. Like I took plastic fireman hats that my daughter got at like a festival or whatever, and that's how I made the carapace. And then I put a whole bunch of other bits and bobs on it, different things. Some of these weapons are from Transformers and things like that. Just stuff I have in my fodder bins
It's pretty cool.
to
Love it.
make it. And this is what it came from.
No
Oh, wow.
way.
No.
Great. That's great
Wow.
work.
Holy, yeah, that's pretty good.
I am legitimately mind blown.
Yeah. So this you can get for like 20 or 25 bucks on Amazon. It's just a 4-inch Halo Walker guy. And the cool thing about this is it can open up and you can put a guy in there, right?
That's neat.
That's
So-
cool. How are you, Nate?
I took this
It's Snake.
and I kind of just, went all the way forward, added all this stuff onto it. And then I can actually still pull this back and
Oh,
take it
neat.
Oh,
out.
nice. Huh.
And there's my 1/18th scale pilot.
That's
Oh,
so
wow.
cool.
It's brilliant, man.
Yeah, that
Like a
is
medieval.
genius.
It's like a medieval Ed 09.
Yeah,
Ooh,
it honestly is.
True.
And
true.
then somebody asked about the vehicles that Joy Toy actually makes for the Warhammer. So they make these bikes. These
Oh, hey.
I did
Oh,
not
yeah.
make this. This is official. This is a Joy Toy Warhammer bike. One guy can fit on that, ride it.
Hmm.
And then they also have these, they call it an ATV, but it's like a really big kind of, it's still only two people, but There's that.
That's cool though.
That is
Looks
pretty
like
neat.
Yeah, these are nice.
What scale is that?
1/18th.
It's a tumbler.
But it's made for Space Marines, so it's a little bit bigger. So like you might could fit a 6-inch person in this seat. Maybe. Especially if it's like really 6-inch, not like bigger 6-inch. Here's something else I did, and I forgot about this when I was thinking about my night. So I made this
That's cool.
a Rhino. This is like
Yeah.
one of their APC type vehicles.
Yeah.
Holy shnikes. Look at that thing.
Great
And
for customizing.
believe it or not, this is all cardboard and foam.
Looks
No,
great.
Looks great.
Yeah,
that looks
I made it
pretty
from
good.
scratch.
Looks
And I
official to
went
me.
full geek mode. And I looked at pictures online and then extrapolated the dimensions to try to get it right with all types of math. And
Well, I think you nailed it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
extrapolating the
that looks great,
dimensions
man.
in my high school metal band.
No,
And then
Magnus,
it
that looks
also
great.
you can open it up from the back here. Whoops, all my stuff's all over the place. But you can open up in the back and you see you got screens and everything in there. Let me
Oh,
take
yeah.
some of this stuff out so you can see.
Wow.
That is extra, man. That is so good.
Great. Looks great.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Nailed
the
it.
top opens up too. I used the old CD case.
Oh, that's clever.
Mint.
That's great.
How about that?
All right.
Look at
That
that.
is so cool. You can put an epic soundtrack on there. That's
Barry
awesome.
Manilow CD.
Random computers and stuff in there. And
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
I am
Man.
legitimately impressed, dude. That is so cool.
so I haven't
Super cool, man.
actually made a video of this yet. I planned to, and then I got caught up doing some other stuff and I didn't get a chance to do it yet. But
Yeah, I'd love to see more about it.
Super cool. Yeah. That's a great
Yeah.
vehicle.
making custom stuff is probably my passion right now. It's what I spend the most time doing.
Yeah.
It's just it's fun.
Magnus, the
I'm
toy
impressed.
wizard. Very impressed.
Wizardry.
Appreciate it.
Adam, you've got another image. Do you want me to share it?
Yeah, I wanted to say if you are a fan of this show and a fan of Gaz, you want to make sure you get over to T Public and get yourself a Gaz Gordon T-shirt.
Oh, we got merchandise
On sale now.
Apparently.
Gaz. And
I think you should say Gaz and Zaz.
yeah, well,
No way.
We
We know who the headliner is, guys. We know who the headliner is.
Yeah, it's you, not me. They ain't here to see me. They're here to see you.
I'm just saying the fastest selling T-shirt on the internet right is the Gaz Gordon T-shirt.
Yeah,
You
love
want
it.
to look as good as Flash Gordon, but with all the Gaz style. This is the T-shirt for you.
Thank you, man. Look at that. That's crazy. Love it.
Get two.
Gonna get to one for you. It's a great date or a great shirt for a first date.
Yeah, I agree.
Just let her know what you're about day one.
What's
I
a
love it
Gaz?
if Gaz showed up to a date wearing a Gaz shirt.
Right. And like real 80s white slacks.
I was thinking more of like the pastel colors like Crocky used to wear with no socks and those like boat
That's right.
shoes.
That's right. God, you first raise on here.
How are you, buddy? Stopping by between commercial breaks of the Women's Royal Rumble. Rhea, that's another Aussie in the world.
Beautiful.
That's great.
I always forget when modern wrestling is on. I haven't followed wrestling in so long.
It kind of
it
dropped
just-
up after the wrestling.
After our last live wrestling experience, it's pretty traumatizing.
You know what I was thinking? Yeah, true. You know what? You know what I was thinking, Gaz?
Yeah.
We could do a shoot the shit, talking about our experience at Joe Fest and the A&E interview that and a little bit about that sort of stuff. Now that A&E's come out and we're well,
Yeah.
Adam and I and Gaz world famous, being on the A&E interview. Gaz is a pause and you'll see him moment, but he's there. He's in it. Hans too. We should all get the guys together
Yeah,
again.
Hans. Yeah, I did my best to try to avoid the camera.
Yeah, we know, but we're lucky that you're on the camera this time. Datalynx, I hope that you will consider being a regular guest on
yes.
here at the house. We've
Absolutely.
enjoyed having you hang out with us. And we definitely would like to have you come back and talk about some more of your custom stuff. Here on Shoot the Shit, we talk about just about anything. We've done aliens, we've done Bigfoot, we've done stop motion.
We haven't done aliens yet, have we? We haven't done aliens yet.
Well, we touched a little bit on the alien.
We need
But
to talk about aliens.
No, we're going to do more of an alien chat. I've got to get some more tinfoil though, so I can wear my tinfoil hat for the
They're
episode.
up there.
We did our first episode. We had a guest. Our first guest was Cutthroat Comics. We've done comics. We had a little bit of a false start with our comic stream, if you remember, Gaz. Where power
You,
issues. Yeah,
froze.
it froze.
And they went, oh, we got a problem.
Yeah, there was the one time where Gaz and I were on, and then you just left. And then Gaz and I were alone.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do, Adam?
What, did somebody lose power during the stream?
Yeah, he lost power in the first episode.
Oh,
And
man.
very first episode, and it didn't come back at all. We had to just can the show. It didn't come back until, and then the next week was a bit iffy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I'm in a better area now with the it's not so bad. So Kiwi was going to do an Anzac Day special on Thursday, and I was going to be a guest on his channel. Still hope to be a guest on your channel sometime soon, Kiwi. However, what we're going to do instead this Thursday, myself, Johnny Sorensen, and Nate, the Retro Tinker, we're going to go channel hopping because we've got a couple of Kiwi representations and some Aussie representation for Anzac Day. And we're going to go channel hopping. So we're going to start on my channel, jump over to Nate's channel, and then we're going to jump over to Johnny's channel just for a little, spread the love a little bit. Quick 45-minute streams each with a quick, concise topic. And hopefully we don't go over, but knowing me, I'll ramble quite a bit. Before my stream, there is going to be a stream happening on Frostbite's G.I. Joe Repro. They'll be kicking off on their channel. FYI, I did invite them to channel hop, but Frostbite said no, he doesn't want any part of that nonsense. So
Hard no. Rejected.
rejected.
So is this a morning show live?
It'll be for you. Well, it'll be. So what time have you got there now?
It's 10:47 p.m.
Yeah, it'll be at this time Thursday. So it'll be noon my time.
Oh, so I'll be able to watch it because I'll
We'll
be
be
home.
here.
Nice.
And there is a stream early in the morning for Mo Tuesday, even though it's a night show. So we're
Mo
back from
Tuesday morning show
The greatest morning show on the tube.
on the tube. Get in line, Regis Philman.
You guys, I
Wait.
swear to God.
Where is everybody at? I heard Canada.
Yeah, so I'm in Canada. Up in Ontario, Canada.
I'm in New England.
Okay. Okay.
And ironically,
Ontario,
yeah, go ahead.
Ontario, what time zone are you in?
So we're in Eastern Standard. So it's 10:48 p.m.
Oh,
here.
okay. All right. So all three of us are on the same time.
Where are you?
Except for me.
I'm in Ohio.
You're in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
The
So
dog
Gaz-
ball out.
Tonight was the Leafs and the Boston in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, that's right. Hold on. Oh,
And here we are
damn
just being friends. It was a 3-2.
Yeah, but we won the first game 5-1, right?
Oh, we won the first game. I don't care what. I'm
Most-
Canadian. I don't care.
I thought. he
Hey,
was
as
all
long as we
serious
beat the
about it. He's like,
Canucks,
"No,
I don't care. As long as we beat the Canucks. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Ken.
Yeah,
It's all Canadians are always friendly until there's sports involved. And then you might lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they try to get one of our players arrested.
so I've got a video dropping this week. Going to be dropping probably Friday evening.
Yeah.
We're going to finish our Voltron trilogy with a Matchbox Voltron restoration.
More wizardry.
Nice.
Yeah, looking forward to that. You're on a roll with these Voltrons. I'm really enjoying it. I can't hear the Voltron theme without thinking Chad's alarm that went off during Joe Fest that he would not wake up to.
Right.
So I'm a little bit triggered by it. But I think your 3 Voltron videos happening now.
Yeah, so this will be the 3rd one, and I did it that way because the Matchbox one, when it was released, was called Voltron 3.
Ah, perfect.
Hold on. It's only going to be a trilogy?
Well,
where's the vehicle one?
Yeah, so I never had the vehicle one as a kid. Like it's
never too late.
Does that mean it doesn't exist?
But,
yeah.
Okay, guys. You know what? Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna come down to New England sometime this year, and then you and I are gonna go to a toy show, and we're gonna look for a vehicle Voltron for me to restore.
Voltron? Well, there's a toy show at the end of June, but that might be too soon after Joe Fest for you.
And we'll see how the pennies fall. But that'll be the 2-part video. Gazz and Adam looking for a Voltron, and then fixing a Voltron.
Well, I think there's going to be a Mega Fest in the fall. Maybe we can plan on that.
Yeah. Now we're talking.
Datalynx, did you ever have Voltron as a kid?
Sorry?
Say what?
Datalynx, did you have Voltron as a kid? Voltron?
I did not. I wanted him though badly. I'm talking about badly, but
yeah.
Wasn't in the car.
I wanted the vehicle one badly. I asked for it for Christmas. You know what I got? Why? You know, like that JCPenney catalog that used to come out, or something like JCPenney, or like what was the service merchandise catalog? They had the toys. And there was some generic version. Yeah, they were the generic versions of the stuff. I got the generic vehicle Voltron. All these little itty bitty plastic cars, and I was like,
heartbreak.
No,
that was the one that got away when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I had a decent amount of GI Joes, had a ton of Transformers, had a bunch of superpowers and Secret Wars and all the stuff. I never got the Voltron, and it was very, very sad because I watched that show religiously.
Yeah, it's a great show.
I think I just put a video up on my Patreon as a little sneak peek to the Voltron video that's coming up. And I think it's my favorite 3D design thing I've ever made.
I can't wait to see this one then.
Little sneak peek for you guys. It's this guy right here.
Oh, see, so go figure you a 3D printer. I heard you made the designs. You print them too, huh?
Yeah, it's fine.
That's the best.
I may have to.
It's gonna be.
Have to have a talk with you.
Yeah. Let's talk it up, baby.
Maybe you should design your own Voltron.
Yeah,
because I'm all about pilot parts.
Yeah, we can be pilots.
Anything you need, my friend.
And can my Voltron be a tiger instead of a lion?
Tiger Force. Tiger Force.
Tiger Voltron. Can mine be green like Battle Cat?
Zazel, Gazz and I were talking, bud.
Oh.
All right. Well, I'll see you guys. This guy.
He's like, forget it. Do the show on your own then.
Yeah. See what happens? You talk about sports, and the mean Canadian comes out of him.
Yeah.
Right?
Boy.
Unbelievable.
You guys work it out amongst yourselves, and we'll come back later.
So, Zazel, I don't know if I even answered your question when you asked me because I got caught up in customs, but I do have stop motions coming soon. So, let me look at my little list here.
Guys reading notes like Cameron McDonald jokes.
Do that again.
I know.
What do you got coming up?
There you go. So, Warhammer 40K. I think I said that one, and then I got distracted.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat.
Ooh, okay.
Mortal Kombat. Custom Shang Tsung. Made from Ming the Merciless.
I like anything.
Wait. You took a Ming the Merciless and you customized him to that dude?
Yep.
That better be a good bad guy because that's Ming.
Yep.
That's Ming.
He's no longer in condition.
Magnus.
He's got a little Ra's al Ghul in him too. There.
Yeah, look at him.
Yeah.
Look at him. Looks pretty dope, man.
He's
look at that
very
gold.
ostentatious. I know, right?
Ooh.
He doesn't spare
All
any
right,
expense.
I'll let it slide.
When he's
Spacey
running
will
the
let it slide
tournament.
too.
I always thought it'd be fun
Uh,
to do Austin Powers 4 and then clone Austin Powers, and the other guy's ostentatious.
Oh,
Is that
that's not
Sonya
bad.
Blaze?
Yep,
That's Sonya
custom
Blade?
Sonya
Nice.
Blade because
Oh,
Storm
nice.
Collectibles lost the Mortal Kombat license apparently,
Uh,
so we're not
That's
going
a
to get
shame.
one. So I had to make one.
Did they check where they had it last?
They've had it for a long time, but they all of a sudden took down all of their Mortal Kombat stuff off the thing. Like it's weird. Something happened. It's very disappointing. So Warhammer 40K, Mortal Kombat, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
what?
Okay.
Ooh, TMNT.
and I have. Remember, I told you I used to be a comic book artist in another
Yes.
life, and I had all these characters or whatever.
Yeah.
What I made custom figures of many of them,
Oh,
and
you gotta do your own
Yes.
series.
put them in stop motions. Yeah,
Yeah.
You gotta do your
Yeah.
own series.
Do
Brilliant.
that.
yeah. Let me see if I
Brilliant.
got one handy to show you real quick. Just real quick.
All right.
While
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
going, while
please.
it's going, I just want to point this out to all the figure collectors.
Bjorn!
How are you,
These
Bjorn?
two figures are beautiful.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Like Duke, look at Duke and Scarlet. They just look great.
Hey, Gaz, did you hear my joke when I said that the figure wasn't in mint condition anymore? Did you hear that?
Not in mint condition.
Yeah, I said it was not in mint condition. You get it?
Yeah.
When that guy
Yes.
cracked out his list, I thought he was going to read jokes like Norm Macdonald at the end of Norm Macdonald's show. He's like, went to my cardiologist, and he says, "You're too fat." And you asked me, "How fat is it? Are you?"
How fat is he?
He said, "I was so fat that I had a risk of heart disease or stroke." He's not a comedian. He's a cardiologist. He's not supposed to be funny. Why do you think he was going to be funny? Like that's what Norman do at the end of his show, and it's brilliant.
Did you ever hear the Norm Macdonald joke where he talks about the moth that comes into the doctor? No, the psychiatric. What was it?
The podiatrist.
Right. Yeah, it's a podiatrist. Yeah, I love that joke. Oh, let me check that out.
Look at this dude.
So here's one.
Love that.
That is neat. Nice colors.
What's his name?
Blue and white, perfect.
Ascendant.
All right, I like that
Ascendant.
one.
And then I'm like a sucker for Golden Age heroes and Pulp Fiction type stuff, or Pulp Fiction type stuff.
Yeah.
You're gonna pull like a shadow character, or like the Phantom and Freak.
So this guy is called the Crimson Judge.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh wow,
That's
Look at
great.
that, dude, that's cool.
Anybody with like
And then
a wicked sword.
this
I mean,
guy is Agent America.
All right,
No.
you got look at that dude.
that guy,
Wow.
that guy needs a jetpack.
Yes, he does need a jetpack.
Really?
So, yeah, that's
I
kind of what
love
I'm
that.
like. And
That's
these
awesome.
two guys, those are, I don't know if you guys noticed, I put them up there real quick, but those are like cloth outfits.
Yeah, like almost
Yeah,
like
yeah.
ego suits.
Yeah, Migos suits. Yeah,
Right. Well, almost like Mezco figures.
are they sworn enemies?
No,
These
this guy, despite, and I'm screwing this up because it's opposite. This guy is actually a hero, but he's like a really dark, like
All right, so he's like a Batman type,
kill the bad guys
or
hero.
not Batman type.
Whereas he's
Punisher.
like, poster child, mystery
Right,
man,
yeah.
went and fought the Nazis type guy. So,
so
so
you're
yeah, I
gonna
had
do
this-
stop
I have
motions
this-
with these. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. So I have like, and the what I'm working with here. The idea is there was the mystery men, the Golden Age heroes, and I'm gonna have flashbacks to them, and then their successors are in the modern day. And
Yeah,
they'll be like this guy will be modern day. The guys
Right.
with the cloth outfits will be the Golden Age heroes.
yeah.
It'll look
Nice.
stylistically kind of different.
We gotta
like that.
work more on our ending joke bits here, Gaz. So ask again if they're sworn enemies. Let's go ahead and ask again.
Are
Oh,
they sworn enemies?
No, because they're Golden Age heroes, and in the Golden Age, the heroes didn't swear.
You can see
Not
these guys
bad.
opening up at the Improv on Friday
Yeah, we're
night.
gonna keep the jokes flying
That's
here tonight.
actually not bad.
That's
That's
a
not
great one.
bad.
I love it. No, I love that idea, the Golden Age style. I actually prefer more of the Golden Age style than any modern take, but I kind of like what you're doing. It's kind of nice. He's got like that. I mean, obviously you've read Kingdom Come, right? You've read that comic, right? Yeah, so that you get that Golden Age heroes and then the newer, more edgy characters coming out. Yeah, but I like that. That's great.
Yeah.
So
Good
that's
idea.
what I have going on in here.
I really like seeing custom stuff of things that come from people's individual imagination, right? Their own world building. You know, it's all very well and good to get into G.I. Joe and Marvel and Warhammer even. That's all really good stuff. But I love it when because I like creative writing and stuff like that too, where I like to see something that didn't exist until this individual person thought it up and put it out there. So I'm looking forward to checking that out, Datalynx. Don't forget the data link to Datalynx Magnus channel is trying to go, and Adam's trying to do a bit of a joke that didn't quite work. So Kiwi's going to check out your channel. Check out his channel. The link is in the description. There's some great stuff on there. He's going to have some great stuff coming up too. We'll call it a night there, fellas. Sorry I was late. It's now hit lunchtime here. Datalynx, please come back and join us here on the show. We'd love to have you to hang out with us. We're talking X-Men next week. If you have any interest in X-Men, you can come and hang out with us and talk some X-Men.
I got a lot of faves, and that's another one of my faves. So I may just do that. I love X-Men.
Right, perfect. We're going to bring Hans to come out and talk some X-Men with us too. Adam, you'll be there to talk X-Men.
You know me. I like a good X-Man.
Mo Tuesday comes back this Tuesday, which is tonight for me, tomorrow morning for you guys. Before you check out Mo Tuesday, do go to Datalynx Magnus channel. Hit subscribe. Do it now. Don't wait. Do it right now.
Much appreciated.
And then check out some of his videos. Don't do it just once, but
Check it out one time, won't you?
please.
Because I'm a very small channel.
No, it's great stuff there.
Appreciation I will appreciate.
And thanks again for throwing over those lines. He sent over some lines for Balrog and for Mr. T. He did do Colonel Guile as well for the Slaughterhouse Wrestling Championship. Appreciate it. There he is. And with that, thanks, guys. Oh, you got a new subscriber in JoeFan84.
Appreciate it, Joe Fan.
Yeah, it's good stuff over there. And I appreciate you hanging out with us. The invitation is there for next week. I'll send you the link if you want to join us. We're talking X-Men. But, Adam, are we back this week to talk Toy Biz?
Oh, yes, we are.
Oh, yeah. We're X-Men Series 2, right?
X-Men Series 2, and yeah, I got a whole bit, but I'm going to save it for tomorrow.
Yeah, don't give us all your good jokes now.
Yeah. Oh, look at him!
You got to save your material.
Look at
Yeah,
that!
Save your material.
It's Archangel. Look at him go!
Save it for the night.
So happy that you have that, Gazz.
Don't forget to hit that like button as well. Thanks to everyone in the chat for hanging in there for us. Sorry we were late. We will see you again on this channel tomorrow morning for Mo Tuesday morning, apparently, even though it's for tonight for me. And with that, we'll send you out with the good old Adam from Gofigure's outro. He sings this song, I hope you know. And here it is. Goodbye. Pew, 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 pew.